At 6 feet 4 inches and 106 kilograms of pure power, he's a towering presence on the rugby field. Imagine trying to stop a freight train going full speed. That's what it feels like when you're facing Duhan van der Merwe. When you think of rugby royalty, names like Johnny Wilkinson, Richie McCaw, and even Dan Carter spring to mind. But today, we're talking about a new kind of rugby royalty. The Prince of the North, the powerhouse on the wing, the one and only Duhan van der Merwe. A man who's as dangerous with the ball as a cheetah on the run and who's made Scotland his kingdom. So buckle up, rugby fans, because we're about to dive into the life of the man who can run faster than your internet connection. And that's saying something. But before we continue to dive deep into Duhan's incredible journey, I have a quick favor to ask. Over 98% of you who watch our videos haven't yet subscribed. Imagine what we could achieve if we all teamed up. It doesn't cost anything, but it helps us bring more content like this your way. Done? Awesome. Thanks. Now let's continue with Duhan's rise to rugby stardom. The rise of a rugby star. Duhan van der Merwe was born on June 4th, 1995 in George, South Africa. Picturesque coastal town nestled between mountains and the Indian Ocean. But don't let the peaceful surroundings fool you. In this part of the world, rugby is more than just a sport. It's a national obsession, and young Duhan grew up with a rugby ball in his hands, surrounded by a culture that worships the game. From the moment he could walk, Duhan was on the rugby field. Well, more like the front yard of his family home, where he and his older brother Acker would play for hours. And while Acker eventually grew into a hard-hitting front rower, little Duhan had a different set of skills. His combination of size and speed was something special, even as a young boy. Imagine being 15 years old and already towering over your classmates. By the time Duhan hit his teenage years, he was bigger, faster, and stronger than just about everyone else, which probably wasn't great news for the kids trying to tackle him at school. He attended Hoërskool Utonikwa, a well-known rugby school in George, and quickly became a standout player in the youth leagues. This was the breeding ground for future Springboks, and it was here that Duhan started catching the eye of scouts. By the time he was 18, his raw athleticism and natural talent were impossible to ignore. He was bigger than most wings, standing at 6 foot 4 inches, but what really set him apart was his speed. Once he was going down, he was like a runaway freight train, barreling down the wings with no intention of slowing down. But the road to the top wasn't all smooth sailing. Despite his impressive performances at school and his selection for South Africa's under-20 squad in 2014, Duhan found it difficult to break into South Africa's rugby system, which was crowded with elite talent. The competition was fierce, and with a long list of wings ahead of him in the pecking order, Duhan realized that his path to success might lie outside of his home country. Sometimes, to generate greatness, you need to make a leap of faith, and that's exactly what Duhan did. In 2016, with a burning desire to prove himself, he made the bold decision to move to Europe, to France, where he joined Montpellier. Now, for most players, this is the moment where they settle into a professional career. But for Duhan, it was just the beginning of a journey that would take him places he never expected. The move to Europe and breakthrough with Edinburgh. In 2016, Duhan found himself in France with Montpellier, team in the prestigious top 14. But even here, things weren't quite falling into place. With limited game time and a struggle to make his mark, it was a necessary chapter in his growth. These early challenges taught him resilience, the kind that would serve him well in the years to come. After all, when you're destined for greatness, the setbacks are just stepping stones. Then came the turning point in 2017. Duhan joined Edinburgh Rugby Club in Scotland, a move that would change everything. The Scottish club gave him the platform he needed, and boy, did he seize it. Suddenly, the rugby world sat up and took notice. Duhan was a nightmare for defenders. Whether he was barreling through the opposition or outpacing them on the wing, it became clear Duhan van der Merwe had arrived. It wasn't long before commentators started calling him the freight train on the wing. Defenders? They were like passengers without a ticket. They had no business trying to stop him becoming a Scottish hero. Then came the ultimate honour for any player, putting on the jersey of a national team. In 2020, Duhan qualified to represent Scotland through residency, and he made his international debut. And let me tell you, it was worth the wait. His first game saw him score a try against Georgia, and it didn't take long for the fans to realise that they had something special in this South African-born sensation. And then came the 2021 Six Nations. Scotland was a team on the rise, and Duhan, he was their not-so-secret weapon. In one of the most memorable Six Nations campaigns in recent history, Duhan was front and centre. His standout performance? Scotland's historic victory over England at Twickenham, the first time they'd won there in 38 years. In the process, he was also awarded with Try of the Year in 2023 for that impeccable solo try that millions have watched on repeat. Duhan was instrumental in that game, scoring the winning try and solidifying his place in Scottish rugby folklore. Somewhere in Scotland, they're probably carving a statue of him as we speak. Kilt optional. His best moments and achievements. By now, Duhan van der Merwe's highlights reel is as long as his list of defenders left in the dust. He has also become the top scorer in Scotland rugby history. From crucial tries in the Six Nations to jaw-dropping solo runs, Duhan has given us plenty of unforgettable moments. One of the moments that really stands out is his British and Irish Lions call-up in 2021. Playing alongside some of the best in the world, Duhan didn't just fit in, he stood out. His try against Japan in the warm-up game was pure magic. And don't forget his club success. At Edinburgh, he's been a consistent try scorer and has led them to victories in both the Pro 14 and European competitions. The guy just knows how to deliver when it matters most. You know you're doing something right when opposition teams start forming entire game plans around stopping you. Sibling rivalry. The van der Merwe brothers face off. Now here's a plot twist for you. While Duhan was busy lighting up the rugby scene in Europe, his older brother Akka was holding it down in South Africa. Akka's no slouch either. As a hooker, he's played for the Springboks and is currently part of the Bulls squad in South Africa's domestic competition. The van der Merwe brothers have both risen to the top of their respective games. But here's where it gets interesting. Just last weekend, these two brothers faced off against each other in a match between Edinburgh and the Bulls. Now, imagine that family WhatsApp group. Hey bro, remember when I flattened you on the wing last weekend? Yeah, well I tackled you first. It's all in good fun, but you can bet that match had some extra spice. It's not every day you see siblings go head to head at this level, but for the van der Merwe brothers, competition is just part of the package. What's next for Scotland's rugby prince? So where does Duhan van der Merwe go from here? At 29 years old, he's right in his prime. With Scotland aiming for bigger things on the international stage, Duhan will be crucial to their success. He's already been part of 2 Six Nations campaigns, played for the British and Irish Lions, and made a name for himself as one of the most feared wingers in world rugby. And with a Rugby World Cup on the horizon, there's no doubt that Duhan will have a big role to play in Scotland's future. Could he help Scotland lift that elusive trophy? Well, stranger things have happened. One thing is for sure, Duhan van der Merwe's story is far from finished. If you're a fan of rugby, keep your eyes on this guy, cause he's not done adding to his legacy just yet. And there you have it, the journey of Scotland's rugby prince, from his roots in South Africa to becoming a star for Scotland on the international stage. Duhan van der Merwe isn't just a player, he's a force of nature. So if you haven't already, get ready to see more of him in the years to come. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more rugby legends, epic stories, and deep dives into the world of sports. And hey, who do you think is the greatest rugby winger of all time? Let us know in the comments below. See you in the next video.